This immense problem for the Australian military and veterans community has prompted calls for immediate action to provide better support. The submissions to the inquiry on the issue include alarming detail about veterans who've survived bombs and bullets only to be struck down by mental illness and depression. Many feel they are not getting the help they need, and many blame the government and the Defence Force, as Dylan Welsh reports.
Loretta Somerville was 18 when she joined the Navy.
It was always a dream. I love the ocean, so joining the Navy seemed like a good career option at the time. So I applied to join the Royal Australian Navy and was accepted in 1989.
Her first job was as a cook at a naval base in southern New South Wales.
I transferred to HMAS Albatross in early 1990. It was going along fine. Then off base, I was sexually assaulted by military personnel and civilian personnel, which led to my downfall. I was then subjected to harassment, sexual intimidation, bullying, stalking, until I snapped.
She had a nervous breakdown and left the Navy with no compensation and a host of physical and mental wounds.
I couldn't sleep. I contemplated suicide quite frequently. I was drinking excessively. Basically, I just didn't want to be alive anymore. The Navy didn't help me. They failed with their duty of care, and their solution was to get me out and not punish the people who did it.
Then, late last year, one of her sons saved her life.
So she went off to bed. My staffy came in and got me, and then I found her on the couch, overdosed. At first, I didn't think it was a suicide. I thought she was asleep, and then she wasn't breathing, and then it clicked, and then I'm like, ambulance time.
Sadly, Loretta Somerville's story is not unique. She's met dozens of other veterans traumatised by their time in the military.
Personally, how many people do you know that are veterans that have taken their lives?
10. Myself and a few other veterans started tracking and keeping records of our friends that have taken their lives. That culminated into a bigger database.
They've counted 64 suicides of serving and former military members this year alone.
And as Australians, we must declare war on veteran suicide. This has to be a zero-tolerance campaign.
My first experience came from after the Vietnam War, and there are literally hundreds of diggers who have taken their life since then, and a lot of their family members as well. But that trend is escalating with the involvement in Afghanistan, etc.
There are no official figures for veteran suicides, but the government acknowledges there is a problem.
As you know, from July 1, anybody who has served even as little as a day in the ADF, or is serving in the ADF, of course, as well, will have access to mental health services to deal with PTSD and, of course, other issues, alcohol, substance abuse, and so forth.
That help was too late for Bonnie Perry.
My husband was Andrew John Mung Perry. His nickname was Mung. He was an airfield defence guard in the Royal Australian Air Force, flight sergeant. Most amazing man. He went over to Afghanistan in 2013. He had 80 troops underneath him.
While there, Andrew Perry, a sniper, developed PTSD and was sent home. He became suicidal.
I think his first attempt was in the February of 2014. He had no self-worth, he had anxiety. Andrew was in hospital for 3 months, So I have to work full-time, be a mother, be a housewife, spend 5 hours a day with him. All I wanted was a cleaner. I didn't need a psychologist. I needed someone to try and keep the family unit together, or someone to talk to me that knew how I felt or understood how I felt.
He tried and failed to kill himself 7 times. The 8th time, he succeeded.
I just thought he was out bush having a break, which was something that he used to do a lot. And on the 20th of December, when he never came home, I rang where he was meant to be staying, and that's when the police turned up. And as soon as the police turned up, I knew what the answer was.
This public hearing is in relation to the committee's inquiry into suicide by veterans and ex-service personnel.
Today, a small group of politicians gathered in Canberra, concerned by cases like that of Andrew Perry. One of those politicians is a Defence veteran herself, and she was quick to point the finger at the Department of Veterans Affairs.
The High Executive of Veterans Affairs, that hasn't changed either. You've still got the same people that have been up there for years making these decisions and mistakes, yet they're still employing them.
I think the department has come to realise that it needs to change its culture and its processes.
The committee heard stories of suicidal soldiers ignored by Defence and a dysfunctional bureaucracy that had made it a nightmare for veterans to get even basic benefits.
Someone was saying this morning in the inquiry that there was a medical issue that used to take one page per form to fill out. It's now 16 pages. When these guys have PTSD and they've got other physical medical issues, physical or psychological, they can't fill out these forms. They've got to be kidding themselves.
This was our passing out photo.
The committee will hold another hearing in February and is due to release a report in March. For Loretta Somerville and Bonnie Perry, too little, too late.
A lot of us do have PTSD and are helping those who have PTSD and physical and psychological injuries. And we're not receiving the support we should be getting to help them. But we continue to do it because we know if we don't, they'll fall through the cracks.
Well, we've lost our life, really, because we were a military family. He was the breadwinner. We've lost our husband and our father that we just adored. He took a piece of my heart I could never, ever get back. I had to move state, rebuild our lives. Just try and rebuild our lives as best we can. And try and help other people, because no one should have to go through this.